Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago, or even 2? No, you aren't, and you know it. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is another declaration of truth from your host, Terry A. Hurlbut. That speech of September 1st, and you know which speech I'm talking about, the one everybody's still talking about, by Joe Biden with his red light backdrop, the Marines, the whole bit, has drawn mixed reviews. I've already given you my review of it and sampled those of the legacy media. But in addition, Mr. Dick Morris, who once worked for the last moderate Democrat, thinks that speech is a distraction. And from what I've seen these last few days, I think he's right. That speech actually has its cheerleaders even among ordinary voters. And after all, some great number of voters, however many you think they came to, did vote for Joe Biden and would vote for him again today. So perhaps it's time to tell people why no one should vote for Joe Biden or anyone allied with him. To make that clear, we turn to a presidential candidate who asked an important question. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? Only this time it's, are you better off now than you were 2 years ago? Before I answer, I do want to shout out to the prime sponsor of this channel, which is Conservative News and Views, link in the description. Be sure to check out the awesome CNAV Store. Scroll down near the bottom for that link. Lots of great merchandise there, including this t-shirt that I've selected for today, which depicts Klaus Schwab, head of the World Economic Forum, saying, "We have ways." In plain English with an American accent, we have ways. Schwab and many others are bragging about the ways they have, all right? And that's why I'm going to invoke the memory of Ronald Wilson Reagan. Ronald Reagan won the 1980 Republican nomination for president in his third try. He had 2 presidential debates, one with John Anderson, the other with the incumbent, James Earl Jimmy Carter, Jr. That debate took place on October 28, 1980. I have a link in the description to the full transcript of that debate. And now I'm going to quote you his closing remarks in that debate. This is the speech that carried him to victory. Next Tuesday is election day. Next Tuesday, all of you will go to the polls. You'll stand there in the polling place and make a decision. I think when you make that decision, it might be well if you were to ask yourself, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? Is it easier for you to go and buy things in the stores than it was 4 years ago? Is there more or less unemployment in the country than there was 4 years ago? Is America as respected throughout the world as it was? Do you feel that our security is as safe, that we're as strong as we were 4 years ago? And if you answer all of those questions yes, why then I think your choice is very simple about whom you'll vote for. And if you don't agree, if you don't think that this course that we've been on for the last 4 years is what you would like to see us follow for the next 4, then I could suggest another choice that you have. Let me pause here to advise you that I have left a link in the description to a video showing Ronald Reagan delivering those very lines. And he goes on. This country doesn't have to be in the shape that it's in. We do not have to go on sharing in scarcity, with the country getting worse off, with unemployment growing. We talk about the unemployment lines. If all of the unemployed today were in a single line, allowing 2 feet for each one of them, that line would reach from New York City to Los Angeles, California. All of this can be cured, and all of it can be solved. I have not had the experience the president has had in holding that office, but I think in being governor of California, the most populous state in the union, if it were a nation, it would be the 7th ranking economic power in the world. Well, I too have had some lonely moments and decisions to make. And I know that the economic program that I have proposed to this nation in the next few years can resolve many of the problems that trouble us today. I know because we did it there. We cut the costs, the increased cost of government, the increase in its rate in half over the 8 years. We returned $5.7 billion in tax rebates, credits, and cuts to our people. We, as I've said earlier, fell below the national average in inflation when we did that. And I know that if we did give back authority and autonomy to the people. I would like to have a crusade today, and I would like to lead that crusade with your help. And it would be one to take the government off the backs of the great people of this country and turn you loose again to do those things that I know you can do so well because you did them and made this country great. Ronald Reagan asked a very instructive question indeed, and we can and must ask it again 42 years later. But before we do, I want to shout out to a sponsor who can really help you through the economic storms to come. That sponsor is oursilverlines.com. You feel like you're working harder for your money just to get by? You're not alone. The fluctuating economy, employment issues, unexpected life changes have left many families struggling over the last few years. Collecting gold and silver can help shield you against many of these challenges. But if you're like me many years ago, you don't know where or how to start. Our Silver Lines helps by connecting you with thousands of members who are learning the secrets to creating and protecting true wealth by collecting precious metals. Maybe you just want to collect old and rare and unique coins, or maybe take advantage of the business opportunities that company provides. Well, they can help you learn to live an exceptional life. Visit oursilverlines.com to learn how you can build a legacy for your future. Well, all right then, let's ask, are we better off now than we were 2 years ago? No. Ask any of your neighbors, you who live in the United States, except in the rarest of cases, they'll tell you that they are worse off. Is it easier for you to go and buy things in the stores than it was 2 years ago? The answer would be funny were it not so sad. In point of brutal fact, you can't even count on finding things in the stores today, much less being able to afford them. Walk down any store aisle and what do you see? I'll tell you what you don't see. You don't see the abundance and rich choices of food you saw 4 years ago or even 2 years ago. In fact, you see shelf after empty shelf. And if the shelf is not empty, the manager has placed a sign limiting you to 1 or 2 items per customer or some such thing. Dare anyone call this better off or even well off by any reasonable standard whatsoever? Is there more or less unemployment in the United States today than 2 years ago? More. Barack Obama always suggested that people give up and go home. Donald Trump said, come on, let's get to work. And we did. Now Joe Biden or his handlers have said, go home, wait for the Great Reset. Does America command the respect she commanded 2 years ago? Can one justly say that our security is as safe and that we are as strong as 2 years ago? No, no, and no. Again, that would be funny were it not so sad or so dire. Donald Trump brokered the most significant treaties the Middle East has ever seen. And Joe Biden unilaterally withdrew our troops from Afghanistan, leaving behind millions of dollars worth of sophisticated equipment and condemning many to lose their lives. We see war in Ukraine that need never have broken out. War could break out in Taiwan at any moment, and when it does, the United States semiconductor industry all but shuts down. Don't say it! I know you, especially 2 or 3 of you who have left comments that I'll let stand. And I'll tell you right now, I don't find them worth answering anymore. You're going to excuse this president's poor performance by citing the virus that shall remain nameless. Fiddlesticks! Lay aside for a moment Anthony S. Fauci, MD, funding gain-of-function research. The government overreacted to that virus, and if you doubt that, compare the Florida and New York experiences. Furthermore, this president did everything possible to disrupt supply chains. It was as if he were cutting the supply lines of an enemy, and that would be in perfect keeping with that speech in which he declared all who oppose him enemies of the state. So, here we are, admittedly in midterms, not a presidential election, but still, under a president who made us worse off as a country and as people living in it than we were before he took office. So, Donald Trump could and should make the same speech, just change 4 years to 2, but I'm going to tell you in detail how he could end it instead of the way Reagan ended it. For 4 years, I had the same lonely moments and decisions to make that Joe Biden now claims. I know that the economic program that I have proposed for this great nation of ours in the next 4 years can resolve many of the problems that trouble us today. I know because I've done it already. My team and I cut the rate of cost increase of government, did away with burdensome regulations, and returned billions of dollars in tax rebates, credits, and cuts to the people of America. I didn't inflate the currency as Joe Biden has done, but I intend to stop this ruinous inflation, and I will do it by giving back authority and autonomy to the people. I now call you to a crusade, which I will lead once again with your help. A crusade to take government off the backs of the great people of this country and turn you loose again to do those things that I know you can do so well because you did them under my leadership and made this country great again. And together, we will make America great, not merely again, but a third time. Links to the description of the article, to the transcripts of the 1980 debate, to the video of Reagan asking that question, and to conservative news and views. I've also left links to the awesome CNAV Store and to oursilverlines.com, as I also mentioned. If you like what you've heard, you can like this video and click the bell icon to get notices as soon as I put out another video. You can also click on the Super Thanks icon, the heart shape with a $sign in it, and literally leave me a tip. On the end screen, I'm going to leave a subscribe link and a link to the video of Ronald Reagan asking the question and to my review of that speech and my summary of legacy media reviews. This is Terry A. Hurlbut delivering another declaration of truth and reminding you to let the truth set you free.